'Tis the season for Christmas books. I love embracing the holiday season, and that includes reading all the holiday books. If you go into a bookstore during the holiday season, you will probably find several Christmas romances. And I thought it'd be interesting to look back at some of the romances that I have read and also some that I have yet to read that I'm hoping to read this holiday season. I have not read a ton of Christmas romances, to be honest, but all of the ones I have read are by Jenny Colligan. For those who don't know, Jenny Colligan kind of follows a template with her romances, especially when she has gotten into her series in the 2010s. It involves a woman in her late 20s, early 30s, who decides that she kind of wants to start over with her life. She either gets dumped or fired or both, and she basically decides to just move to a new place, start a whole new business, which really involves like baking, cooking, or selling books, and then falls in love with, the man and also the town, and really becomes a part of that community. That is like kind of at the surface what a lot of her series are about, but she does a really good job building up the worlds and really making each series their own. And you just love hanging out with the characters. And the first series that I want to talk about that really does, for the most part, take place around the holiday season is the Rosie Hopkins Sweet Shop series. It has 3 books: Sweet Shop of Dreams, Christmas at Rosie Hopkins Sweet Shop, and The Christmas Surprise. So Rosie lives in London, is very much a city girl, until she has to move to the small town because her aunt needs help with her sweet shop, and she's not doing too well health-wise, so she goes there to kind of help her out. And she basically falls in love with the town, meets somebody there, and falls in love with him. And in the first book, you see her kind of come to the area, fall in love with the town, basically reopen the sweet shop and bring it back to its glory days, and really see her come into her own. And then the sequels are kind of about her romance, and just really looking at that relationship, what happens after they get together, and really seeing how their lives play out. And the sequels really do focus more on the holiday season. And I really loved reading this during the holidays, and it was just so much fun. I love her books. I love her world building with her romances, and just really falling in love with the towns that she writes about. I will say, out of all the Jenny Colligan series, this one is not my favorite, but I still recommend it. I still think if you want a fun series to read during the holidays, this one, it would be really good. And also, it's only 3 books, so it's not a huge commitment, which is nice with a lot of her series. They're only a couple of books long. The other Christmas books that Jenny Colligan has are sequels to other series that take place during Christmas time, which is really actually nice because you know the town she's writing about, you know the characters, and it's basically like a holiday special, almost like a Christmas special of your favorite show. You know the characters, you know the town she's writing about, and you really just get to enjoy spending time with the characters during the holiday season, which has a lot of kind of relatable things come up with family coming into town and all of that. So it's really fun to see these series, which are probably my 2 favorite series from her, and 2 of my favorite series from her, I should say. And I just really enjoyed reading them. One of them is Christmas at the Little Beach Street Bakery, and one is Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe. I've talked about both these books and series on my socials. Christmas at the Little Beach Street Bakery. This is the 3rd book in the series. So you get the first book where you really get introduced to the characters, introduced to the romance, and really see that all play out. And then you have a sequel to kind of see how the two main characters navigate their romance and kind of all the challenges that come up in their life. So by the time you get to the Christmas book, they've really settled into the relationship. So it's kind of nice to just see them just handle the holidays and navigate the holidays after they've already kind of gotten past the big plot stuff with their romance. Now, one thing that Jenny Colgan has done with this series, and I think in a couple other series, is with this one, the main character is Polly, and you see her relationship and her life. But with her sequels in the series, she really tries to focus in on other characters and get their point of view as well. So with this one, you kind of get this whole story, which is ends up being kind of the main story of the book, of her best friend. And I will say that that story is very risky, I think, for a romance. Just tackling that, it's a lot of drama that you wouldn't expect, especially for like a Christmas book that's, you would think is a little bit more lighthearted. But I think it works. Still really enjoyed the book, even though I'm not fully sure if I really like that whole side story, I think is what I'm trying to say. But this was really fun, I think, just to see this world during the holidays, I think was really worthwhile. Now, the other sequel is Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe, which is a sequel to Meet Me at the Cupcake Cafe. That is the very first book of Jenny Colgan that I read, and it's one of my favorites. Probably will always be one of my favorites just because it was the first book I read from her, and it's how I really fell in love with her writing and her storytelling. And with this one, this is the second book in that series. It's only 2 books in the series. So in the first book, when you get the initial romance and see how that plays out and you meet all the characters and everything, the sequel really shows how the 2 main characters navigate the main romance. And it's definitely different than getting the Christmas story later on, because you're still kind of dealing with the main romance drama, and they're still kind of trying to figure out how the relationship works. And so it feels like the stakes are a little bit higher with this one. I really liked what they did with it, and I think they moved the characters forward and their development forward a lot. And I thought it was really nice, and I thought it was a great sequel. And then the last Christmas book that I've read is another Jenny Colgan book. It's The Christmas Bookshop. So I actually thought this was a standalone book, which it pretty much is, but it does take place in the same world as her Bookshop on the Corner series, because a couple of the characters from, I believe, the second book show up in here, which was a fun surprise. Basically, Carmen, the main character, moves in with her sister for the holiday season because she lost her job, and her sister got her a job at this Christmas bookshop. The sister also has 3 kids and 1 on the way, so Carmen is kind of helping her take care of her kids while the husband is off on a work trip. And I really enjoyed this book. It's such a fun romance for the holidays. There's a very good love triangle plot in this book, to the point where you're not 100% sure who she's gonna choose for a bit. They do a really good job on kind of laying out the 2 guys, and those guys kind of fall into the typical tropes that you see in romances. So you're not really sure which one she's gonna choose until, like, you kind of get through and you're like, okay, well, there is one guy that you're like, okay, you should go with him because he's better. But I really like this book. I love the family wholesomeness. I think it's really cool to show Carmen build a relationship with her nieces and nephew, and really learn how to take care of others while also kind of building up her own career at the bookshop and really have something of her own that she's working towards. So I really like this book and I'm excited to read more. I have the sequel with me that I'm hoping that I'll be able to get to this month. So I'm really excited to dive back into this world and hang out with the characters some more and see what else happens. Speaking of which, let me show you some of the other books that I want to read this holiday season. I already told you about Midnight at the Christmas Shop, which is the sequel to the Christmas Bookshop. It looks like the book will follow the same characters, so I'm really excited to just kind of dive back into that. Some other books that I'm hoping to read this holiday season that are not by Jenny Colligan, I know, are some books by Laurie Gilmore. So these books are sequels to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe book. And from what I understand, each book follows a different romance, but they all take place in the same town, is my understanding of it. So the second book in the series is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which technically I think is more of a fall book than a winter book, but I'm just gonna throw it in here just because it is still kind of holiday and festive. And then the second one is, of course, a holiday book, The Christmas Tree Farm. So I am so excited for reading these two romances. I really enjoyed the Pumpkin Spice Cafe one. It was fun to see kind of a new town, new author write romances. And so I am excited to read these two. And then I also saw that Jenny Colligan has another Christmas book out, The Secret Christmas Library. I don't know if I'll be able to get to this book, but I thought I'd just throw it in there because I saw it at a bookstore when I was wandering around last month, and I picked it up because, you know, I wanted it. And so I thought I would show it off. But that's all I have for you today. Some of the Christmas books that I have in my collection, some that I have read, some that I have not. I am interested, once I get through all these books, to look and see if I can find any other Christmas romances. Let me know if you have any recommendations down in the comments below. And because I haven't really explored the Christmas romances so much, and I'm excited to enjoy some. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. It's been so much fun making videos and posting them here and talking about the books that I love. I have so many ideas for next year and how I want to really show my reading journey as well as my writing journey. So I hope you follow along for that and stay tuned. You can also find some content on my socials. I'm Darling Little Writer on TikTok and Instagram. And I'll see you next year. Bye!